From one pet parent to the next, I'm gonna answer a question that I'm asked almost every single day. And I'm finally gonna sit down and have a heart-to-heart with you and give you my true and honest opinion of, does my pet really and truly and honestly need pet insurance? And I'm gonna give my honest and true opinion, as well as my personal experience and some really big mistakes that I've made regarding this. So let's just jump into this video. Oh, and make sure you stay tuned, because at the end of the video, I am gonna show a fun little DIY brain game that's super easy to do with your dog to really tire them out mentally. With Finn, it kind of makes them like this relaxed, and it's a lot of fun. So make sure you stay tuned, and let's just jump into this video right now. I want to start this conversation a little differently, because I want to ask you a question. I want you to take a moment and I want you to close your eyes. I know, just bear with me here. Trust me, this is important. But I want you to close your eyes, and I'll do it with you. And I want you to picture yourself either with your current pet or the pet you're planning to get, and you're sitting in that cold exam room. It smells a little funny because they had just disinfected it. You hear some dogs crying in the background, and the vet is before you next to the vet tech. The vet tech is holding your pet, and your pet doesn't seem like himself or herself. And the vet is talking to you, and it almost sounds like the Charlie Brown murmuring, like murmur, 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 because all you can really pay attention to is the fact that was it something you did that allowed your pet to get hurt? What is gonna happen? Is it gonna be something that can be treated or cured? And you're sitting there and you have to make a quick decision on which option you wanna take, knowing that either way, you may have outstanding costs to continue to figure out what it is your pet needs. And you have an instant moment of panic, desperation, fear. You feel like you have nowhere to turn, and you're completely confused and scared. And through all of this, all you're really worried about is, will your pet be okay? And the sad reality is that the majority of us, we don't just have thousands of dollars sitting around waiting for an unexpected disease or injury. Because at the end of the day, all we want is what is best for our pet, regardless of the cost. And this cost, this is what I want to remove. And that right there is why I am a huge advocate of pet medical insurance for my pets. And yes, they're on pet insurance with Trupanion. And here's the thing though, pay attention to this, because you may say, okay, yeah, but I'm still a skeptic, and that's okay. I'm gonna talk about that in this video. The reality is I didn't always have pet insurance for all my pets. And I got burned, and this was actually recently. So I wanna share that experience with you so you can kind of understand what could happen and what likely will happen. So I wanna start off with a story about my cat Haven. I don't know if you can see her up there. She just recently turned 16 years old. And unfortunately, I never put her on pet insurance because she was a rescue. I think it was like a free adoption day, so she was really no cost to bring home initially. And what? Cats never really get sick. She was gonna be indoor. I'll just save up some money and take care of her. And guess what? For the first 14 years of her life, we rarely had to go to the vet other than just normal checkups. That was it. She never really got sick or injured. There's a couple little things here and there where I took her thinking she was sick, but she was fine. And I thought I beat the system. I thought we were good to go. But unfortunately, when she was 14 years old, this is now 2 years ago almost, she had her first seizure. Full-blown seizure. We thought we were gonna lose her. We had to rush her to the emergency vet. And that is where we learned that she had a brain lesion, which is like a tumor. She likely has cancer. The emotions that we felt in those moments when the vet was saying, well, we could do MRIs, we could do biopsies, we could do all these scans, the dollar sign and dollar sign and dollars, I could literally hear the cha-ching. And I am that crazy dog mom, cat mom that would do anything for my animals, but it still did not take away that fear and that worry, like, okay, but how much is this gonna cost me? Are we talking like $50,000? Because the vet was saying, well, this procedure is $2,500, and if we do this MRI, it's gonna be $5,000 to start. If we do this scan, you're looking at another several $1,000s, few hundred here and there. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't expecting this. And so we ended up doing everything that we could for her in that moment that the vet recommended. And we will continue to do that. But what I will tell you is in that one first vet appointment, because we've had several since then as we manage her seizure condition, in that one first vet appointment at 14 years old, and we've had her for almost those entire 14 years of her life, we spent more in that vet visit almost 2 years ago than we would have spent had we had her on pet insurance her entire life. Meaning that in that moment, had I just had her on pet insurance from when she was really young, because I'm a big advocate of getting it for your pet, your dog or cat, as soon as they come home, Had we had her on that every month and just paid the monthly premiums, we would have to this day spent significantly less than what we've already paid at all of the vet appointments in the past 2 years. And now it's too late. It's going to be too costly with her pre-existing conditions to get her on pet insurance. So we're just going to pay for everything out of pocket. I will do everything. I have been putting significantly more away in savings to make sure that if she needs any more procedures or medicines or anything like that, we will take care of it. But that little scenario at the beginning of the video, that was me. That was me sitting in that exam room. My husband was actually in the exam room with her and had me on the phone because I was traveling. It was a big mess. And we were both sitting there like, oh my gosh. Instead of just being 100% focused on what was wrong with my pet, I was thinking 10% of me, what is this gonna cost? Most of it was on her, but still there was a huge chunk of me that was like, what is this going to cost? Not only today, but in the future. And I would not want that on anyone, period. So I am a huge advocate of pet medical insurance. Obviously, all my pets are on it, except for my cat, obviously, because we never got her on it. And that was a huge learning lesson. We got Finnegan here. He has been on pet insurance since the day we brought him home. We adopted him from a rescue when he was about 4 months old. That second we signed those adoption papers, we set him up on Trupanion medical insurance. I encourage you to do your research because once you do, you'll see the same that I did, especially with a golden doodle. I mean, Finnegan, he's a rescue, and so we don't know his genetics or how he was bred or anything like that. But golden doodles are prone to cancer and hip dysplasia, and those are two things that are very, very costly. So I wanted to make sure that we had him on insurance from the second he came home when he was a puppy, so that if anything came up in the future, I wouldn't have to worry about it and he'd be covered. And this is something I want you to seriously consider, because answer this question. Think about dogs in your life, whether it's your current dogs or dogs you've had in the past or your friend, your family dog growing up. Have you ever had personal experience with a dog having a chronic, unexpected disease? Think of cancer. Think of really bad allergies or skin issues. Think of diabetes, hip dysplasia, or like a torn ligament, because chances are every single person watching this video has some sort of personal interaction with a chronic disease impacting dogs. And I know that because cancer alone in dogs is impacting our pets at alarming rates. The chance of a dog getting cancer over the age of 10 is 1 in 2, according to the National Institute of Health. Think about that. Under the age of 10, their chances of getting cancer is 1 in 3. So the reality and the likelihood of our pets having some kind of disease that's going to be extremely costly is very high. And you may be wondering, okay, Rachel, we get it. You like pet medical insurance, you love Trupanion, but why are you so passionate? Like, why are you making a whole video about this? And the reason is because, as you guys know, I have been heavily involved in the rescue community. I fostered dozens and dozens and dozens of rescue dogs. And most of those dogs were put into this system and abandoned because they had some sort of unexpected disease or illness that the owners couldn't or chose not to manage or handle. And so these dogs were put under euthanasia or just abandoned on the streets or abandoned to a rescue. We brought them in, we rehabbed them, we paid for the cost with donations and took care of them. And so I just don't want people to be in that situation where their dog is diagnosed with hip dysplasia or shoulder issues because of overbreeding or some genetic disease. And I don't want you as a pet parent to ever be in the position that I was with my cat, where I was sitting there panicking of how much it was going to cost to take care of her for the rest of her life. And who knows at this point, guys, who knows how much it's going to cost me to take care of her seizure disorder and her lesions in her brain as she gets older. I'll do whatever it takes to take care of her and all my pets. But think about the stress that causes. Finnegan has been on Trupanion. His rates have not increased. His monthly premiums have not increased like I have seen on so many other pet medical and pet insurance brands. So that's something to really look into. This video is sponsored by Trupanion, and I want to make something very clear. I have chosen to be with Trupanion for years, and I reached out to them. And I say that because I know sometimes people, you watch a video and you're like, oh, it's sponsored, but here's the reality. I chose them in the beginning before ever talking to the company. Then I loved the company so much and became so passionate about it with all of my experience with rescue work that I reached out to them. I said, hey, I want to make your brand more known because I've never seen a pet medical insurance like yours. Hey, can we work together? And they were like, absolutely. So big thanks to Trupanion for really offering something that I believe in so much can be valuable to pet parents around the world. Now, I want to show you guys a fun little DIY brain game that I've been doing with Finn. And then I want to talk about my favorite foods for dogs and what I think is so important, because we talked about those diseases and conditions, and I'm a big believer that the right kind of foods can be really helpful of keeping our dogs healthy for longer. So we'll talk about that at the end of the video. But first, let's talk about this brain game. Okay, so first thing I do is this is just an extra large dish towel. You could use an old bath towel. It all depends on your dog's size and how you want to do it. Then I have some of these little freeze-dried minnows. You can find these in your local independent pet store. And then what you can do is take a couple and you roll them in here. Can you see that? You can. Then you roll it, and then you put another one here and you roll it and just randomly scatter them throughout. There you go. And then you roll it. And then I'm gonna put one more right here just so it's kind of easy. And then come here, Finnegan. Finnegan, up. There you go. And then I'm gonna have him try to get the treats out. And if you feed a dry food, you could even do this with their meal too. And I kind of let him do it his own way. Sometimes he'll roll it out. Sometimes he'll just take it and kind of shake it. There you go. Yes, good boy. Yeah, good job. You're doing good, buddy. Yes, there you go. And what this is doing is this is working his brain. And why that's important is mental stimulation is far more tiring, soothing, and satisfying for a dog than physical stimulation like exercise alone. And when you pair the two and you can give some physical exercise every day and mental stimulation, you're just setting your dog up to be happy and healthy. Look at this. Now he's got to try to get the food out. If he starts trying to chew it, I just kind of help him out, put it flat, and then he'll try to roll it. Yes, good boy. He loves these little minnows, and they're really healthy, and I love them because they're single ingredient. Good boy. Good boy. I'm kind of stuck in a corner here, trying not to get in his way. Oh, he loves using his paws. You guys, when you try this with your dogs, please make sure you take a picture or video and then tag me on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook at RachelCaraFusaro. I love sharing it when you guys try these different games with your dogs. There you go. Good job, Finnegan. So we kind of got it upside down here. So I think, oh, he might have gotten them all. Oh, uh-oh, I opened it for him. That's okay. Yes, good boy, you did it. Look at that tail. Look at that tail. Don't judge his coat. I recently trimmed him and I decided to do it at home and I'm horrible at it, but I'm working on it. Good job, Finnegan. All right, so, and obviously I do this supervised because I don't want him chewing on the towel, but we do this every day and he has fun with it. So I wanna talk about my favorite food for dogs. You can click the video right here and I'll jump over there with you to talk about that. Or if you wanna see some more of my favorite products for dogs, you can click the video right here. And I hope you have a beautiful day.